For lenge siden så var det en kjent økonom, George Solow, som skrev at jeg ser teknologi alle steder, bortsett fra i statistikken. Men det mente han at alle teknologier som var kommet inn i samfunnet i forbindelse med datamaskiner og sånt, som alle snakket om, ikke ga utslag i noe som helst produktivitets- eller makrotallene. En omskrivning av dette kjente sitatet i dag ville være at vi ser AI alle steder, bortsett fra i produktivitetsstatistikken. Og akkurat der ligger vi, at mange bruker det, mange snakker om det hypet, og vi må forstå mye mer og få ut effektene av denne teknologien, både på virksomheter, men også på samfunnsplan, for det er der effektene vil materialisere seg totalt sett for oss alle. På Senter for digital innovasjon og for bærekraftig vekst, DIG, så vi opptatt av disse tingene, altså AI og AI-teknologi inn i virksomhetene for å skape verdier, og for å kunne realisere disse verdiene på bedriftsnivå, men også samlet opp til samfunnsnivå. Så vi opplever at det å studere det på bedriftsnivå er veldig, veldig viktig å få frem effekten av disse tingene der. Men mens alle snakker om AI, så er det også en ny teknologi som begynner å krype frem, og det heter AI-agenter. Og det skal være litt av temaet i dag, altså AI og AI-agenter. Hva er disse tingene, og hvordan kan vi som ledere forholde oss til disse tingene? Mitt navn er Tor Wallin Andreassen. Jeg er professor i innovasjon, og også en av disse principal investigators på DIG, forskningssenteret, som er opptatt av disse tingene her, og ønsker å profilere oss som et nasjonalt forskningssenter rundt denne tematikken. En av gledene med å være i akademia og også være i DIG-senteret er at vi møter og vi kjenner, og vi arbeider sammen med veldig kjente og veldig dyktige mennesker. I dag så har vi besøk av professor Mohamed Zaki fra Cambridge. Han er leder av et senter der borte som heter Cambridge Service Alliance, hvor han der, på samme måte som vi i DIG, arbeider nært med virksomheter for å forstå og trenge inn i disse problemstillingene og komme opp med løsninger som er til glede for virksomhetene, men også til glede for kunnskapsproduksjon i form av artikkelskriving. Så etter meg så skal jeg kort han gå inn og snakke om denne teknologien AI-agenter, og gi et større innblikk i hva det er for noe, hva det kan bety for noe. Så det blir på en innføring i denne voksende teknologien som får stadig økende oppmerksomhet på toppen av denne AI-teknologien, som vi ennå sliter med å få inn i virksomhetene. Så jeg gleder meg til å introdusere dere for Mohamed Zaki, som nå kommer for å gi et 15 minutters innlegg om hva er denne teknologien, og hvordan kan ledere forholde seg til den.
Hi, as been introduced by Professor Tor, my name is Mohamed Zaki, and I'm running a research center in University of Cambridge called Cambridge Service Alliance, which is an industrial consortium where we do a lot of applied research around the future of digital services. And most of the discussion at the moment with these firms and many other firms, probably everywhere in the world, about the future of a new emerging technology coming to our world, which is the AI agents. And this is a new development of AI technologies that are coming into our worlds, where a lot of executives try to explore how we can use this technology either in our workspace, but also as well in a customer service interactions. And in my talk now, I will go through some of the discussions that I'm having with them, coming from what this AI agent looks like and how they are using from an opportunities and what are the key challenges that they face in their workspace and in their organization. And I guess this is similar to every wave of new technology coming to our space, that kind of different round of thoughts across the different executives, how we can really adopt this technology in our workspace, but also as well introducing this as a new services or a great experiences to our customers in general. And I guess there is a huge potential in this new AI agentic capability. And before we deep dive about the key opportunities that most of the firms now trying to think about and try to ideate and come up with some experimentation and prototype to introduce this type of technology to their businesses, what is really AI agentic and why it has become now, if you like, one of the trends that a lot of firms are starting to basically rely on. And you think this is a new evolutions of AI capability or AI agentic capabilities that came as a digital entity that knows how to learn how to collaborate with human and non-human, how to reason as well in some situations, and also more importantly, taking an action as well. And these actions could have these different level of autonomous level. So it could go from passive way all the way that we are hearing, which is the AGI concept with the generic artificial intelligence, going into a conscious organization. We're still not there yet, but I guess there is a lot of development and evolutions happening in this capabilities that makes organization and also as well the tech firms try to see there is a potential that could goes into this conscious organization. And if you think about these different capabilities, so the passive one, the level number 0, the way I define it, it's basically there is minimal, if you like, interaction with the AI here. So think about, for example, a customer service function in any of your organization. You are relying on human agents in this case. So customers coming, asking about some of inquiries about your business. That could be a products you are selling, for example, or they have some issues with some of the order they already bought from you. You have some human agent that serves them. So answer their inquiries and trying to satisfy satisfy this by quite good responses to them. You go a little bit into automaticity here. So you do some automatic level of agency. So this is organization try, if you like, to build some capability more in a logical way based on their policies that they have. So imagine again, one of your customers talks about, I would like to refund my products, or I would like to return my product. In this case, you have a specific policy. That could be automated somehow by telling a system or a natural language processing system to respond based on the policies and the process that you have in your organization. You can go more, higher level here, which is more relational aspects, which we see now with the concept of ChatGPT. So most of us now engaging and interacting with this solution, and you can see that human-like interaction dialogues are happening, more a conversational AI capability. And this is what we call it now, the power of large language model that basically try to predict the next words, how it's gonna looks like, based on a big training data set that they have. That's enable us to have this kind of conversational interaction or human-like interaction. That's why we call it relational agency in this case. I guess now you can starting going to this level of cognitive AI, which is start to come to my definition is morely about reasoning, right? So trying to understand the task based on access different tools that they have, they can take some decisions and action. Most probably you still need a human here to do as well, take that decision with the machine. So in the case of the customer service, let's stick with this example. You will, for example, could recommend to the human agent what will be the best personalized response to a customer asking about, I would like to buy a jacket with $100, for example. And you could help and augment here the best response and options based on the size and color and the budget to help the human agents to go and basically develop the right answer that could be in personalized way to that customer in this case. In this case, you can see the AI looked here to the product catalogs of the company. They fetch the price. They try to customize and personalize the needs of the customers and put it in a very personalized human-like interaction dialogue, which can be pushed by the human agent in this case. And that's enable and help the productivity gain here of the human agents and try to satisfy million customers in this case, or many customers that you have on the day. You can go deeper as well. You can go now where we can call it the new trajectory that most of the tech organizations starting to push for this, which is the innovator, if you like, agent. And sometimes what we call it as well, on another level, the conscious AI agent. So the innovator agents, probably you heard about the Google introduced AI co-scientist. So this is in drug discovery, is going to be a big, if you like, new emerging technology that's happening in the pharmaceutical and life science type of industry. Now, the scientist can collaborate here with an AI co-scientist that can innovate new ideas, can basically help you as well to retrieve most of the research papers that exist in the medical world and life science. You can connect this as well with other medical data. That's help you to starting hypothesize new ideas and could come up with really novel ideas in the future that can achieve things like drug discovery, which are really going to help for society in the future. The more you automate this, the more you help to lean into this capability to automate and build this autonomous relationship between these AI agents and also augmenting human power. You can reach into a lot of, if you like, conscious organization that you hope in the future take decision by itself. And I think this is the future, or this is the vision. And I guess there is a lot of push to see how these capabilities talk to each other. So you can see that this now is a different level of intelligence and different level of capability that these digital agents as well can work together to help you to achieve a specific task. And the more you go to these complex tasks, the more you see a very powerful scenarios here that you can implement there. Now I will talk a little bit about how is this happening now in the organization. So a lot of the firms I'm speaking to is starting to engage either internally or externally to ideate where we should implement these capabilities in our organization. Are we quite confident that these type of capabilities can be a customer facing or actually as well employee facing? And from my conversations a lot with these firms, they still trying to explore the different use cases as a customer facing, but also as well inside the workspace. Because this is a power, it's an extension of re-engineering all the processes and the service and the customer journey inside our organization and connecting us with our customers. And that can enable us to achieve two things. One is efficiency gains, so we try to help our employees to do their task quicker and save their time for more complex tasks. And I guess the second opportunity is actually how we really take all the bottlenecks when the customer is engaging and interacting with us, and that can help to build a better experience and personalized experience to our customers and engage with them better, which can be obviously get a lot of return of investments when it comes to new opportunity to either make the customer loyal to our customers, to our firms, and in this case achieve a customer retention strategy, but also as well help us to come up with new service business model opportunity by leveraging this. One of the couple of key challenges, I'll try to finish by this, is basically the one key thing is the cost. There is a huge cost implication by implementing this capability. Obviously, because it leverages large language models. And large language model, you have two strengths out of this. One is what we call it the closed source. So this is similar to OpenAI one. And you are really, by the time you are sending a token, for example, to do a specific task, then, for example, responding to a customer in a customer service setting, for example, that's cost you money. There is a second, if you like, strength to this, which is what we call it the open source ones. This is similar to, for example, Meta Llama, which is coming from, used to be known for Facebook, but is now called Meta as a company. And similar other, if you like, developed models that are coming into the space, where has the similar capabilities to be used. Now, most organizations try to experiment and pilot with the closed source one, but I am opening as well this conversation by saying you should as well get your attention to the open source one as well. The second part is most of these models need your enterprise data, right? Because again, when these models are trained, originally trained by the public data that exists in the internet, and to get a value from these large language models in whatever context you are building in your organization, it needs access to the enterprise data. Again, if you think about the customer service or support function in this case, you probably need to train these models with what is the customer inquiry typically come. The FAQ, for example, the frequent asked questions that typically customer inquire and come and ask your company about. And once you train these models with these capabilities, it produced the better answers. Again, come back if a customer is asking about a product, that needs to your product catalog, product systems that has all the description, the price, the details of the product, the names, and etc. And need to be dynamic as well, because probably your product are changing over time. Obviously, there are many challenges in this. The third one is actually the adoption, right? And which from your customer or employee will likely to use this kind of service or solution, will be a huge resistance from them. So this is a concept about change management, for example, and how you take this in an incremental improvement way with the right communication and transparency to make this adoption easy. And there is a lot of research through the years talking about how we build this technology, but obviously need to experiment with the new emerging technology. Lastly, obviously, there is the ethical complication, the security, the black box, and all of the things which might be we will discuss with Tor in our conversation later on. Thank you so much.
Mohamed, thank you so much for a wonderful lecture. This was really enlightening, and also it's complex, isn't it? The whole topic of AI and AI agents. If you should, in layman terms, I mean, what is AI and AI agents? I mean, how are they similar or not similar, or how do they sit in each other's? How would you explain that?
Okay, so Tor is the the fact that most of the the scientists back in the days when the computer started was how we can create a system that mimic human in general when they do specific tasks. And this took a lot of developments over the years, right? By building new techniques and capabilities, to understand numbers, right? So was the first reactions into new systems to get some patterns around the number, try to be trained these systems with this number. And that can help us to build a machine that can predict. And this is really the essence about how we can use, if you like, machine learning capability and AI capability. Over the years, scientists and companies as well, research, work together to develop this capability over the years. They see how we can reach to a machine that not only read numbers and understand numbers and be used in tasks related to numbers, but also understand text, right? So this is a branch of AI called natural language processing. So how can we understand text? And different techniques have been used, have been experimented. Some of them are what we call it dictionary-based at starting like this. So we put like a dictionary in a machine, and that's led them to understand these words when it happened, you should do specific things. Didn't work when it comes to scalability questions. So this is, again, techniques came into our world about how we use this into a statistical way. So again, another techniques of natural language processing starting to be used, deep learning architectures in this case, to help us really, again, to make this natural language processing in a scalability issues. There are other branches, obviously, which is like the vision, for example. So now is looking to images, looking to videos. So this now a new AI systems as well, try to understand different data types, right, related to this unstructured data. And also sounds as well, right? And that's enable, organizations and enable scientists as well to explore how we can make this machine more intelligent, in essence. Until recently, there were a huge, if you like, breakthrough in these techniques, which is related how to go deeper into the context, especially into enable us to become the machine attention to a specific context, and that's enabled them to predict better what will be the next word, what will be the next, if you like, capability to enable to come up with a proper text and etc. And organizations use these techniques to enable them to basically inject many big data. So I think there is another big factors recently that internet become full of public informations and data. That's including the plethora of social media in itself. And companies are starting to explore how we build something called large language model. And the large language model here is basically massive amount of data using this recent capability techniques, which attention to context, attention to specific tokens based on the context to predict it better. enable them to become making a model that can build a conversational dialogue, which is we saw the introduction of ChatGPT, for example, in a couple of years. You're asking an inquiry to the system coming with a human-like, if you like, dialogue in this case. Now, organization took this into a next evolution, which is now we have a system that can talk, because that was again a vision. You can see, for example, Amazon tried Alexa, right? And it was successful in some of the tasks, but it didn't go deeper. Siri as well was an introduction, and been a vision for all these tech firms how to develop a conversational human dialogues with the machine. Now, when the advancement happened in large language model, now organizations start to think how we can do more with this kind of technology.
Like step two.
Step two.
Yeah.
And this is, I think, this is what we are talking about is the AI agency. And the AI agents here using this brain capabilities of the large language model, if you like, in these systems, to enable them to do the vision that used to be in the computer science world or in the data science world, which is to communicate, to interact, to reason, to take an actions, to access tools, and help human in their tasks. Obviously, before we had robots, which is sitting in a specific context, like in manufacturing, but these are agents that they are programmed in specific tasks.
Why do you call them agents?
Right. So I think agency coming, from us as a human originally, right? So, when we are, become part of a service environment, let's imagine this is our world in the service environment, we call them, they have a specific task, right, based on their skills, based on their education, if you like, based on their training, and you hope that they achieve an outcome, right? They take an action in a specific situation. And I think, again, coming with that vision that we wanted to make computer mimicking what we do, right, to help us in a specific task, it was a natural development to call them an AI agents in this case, because we want to firstly program them to do a specific task or teach them, learn them to do a specific task, hence the machine learning capability. But also as well make them reason, which is the big thing at the moment about how they can break out a complex task into a subtask, think about this, right, and try to come up with an action or a proper solution at the end. I think the power now as well, they can collaborate together. So it's not only a human machine collaboration, it's a multi-agent collaboration, which is I could have a sub-agents that is really specialized in a specific things.
So working together.
To achieve a specific outcome you'd like to do.
Yes. So each one is specialized in a certain function to go and do that or make that call and then activate something else. And,
Exactly.
An agent come from agency.
Agency.
Again, individuals and mimicking an individual.
Exactly.
Wonderful, wonderful. So this is like standing on the shoulders of AI. It's not like you're turbocharging it, but you're giving it more reasoning capabilities and action orientation.
Exactly.
Very, very fascinating technology.
Yeah.
It's very new, isn't it? It's also on the horizon for the last year or so?
I think it's, first of all, the concept of agency been there for, years and years.
Yeah.
I think the question was the maturity. So if you think about the starting of this is where a lot of organizations starting to explore that robotic processing automation. So how, I don't know, I have a system A and a system B. I need them to talk to each other. I will put some scripting and if logic scenario. If you found this, do this. If you do this, if you do that. That's, if you like, an automation process level. And that's helped a lot of firms to streamline their workflows.
Would you say, is this manufacturing?
It could be manufacturing. Yeah. It could be used a lot between, if you like, systems, right? So whatever that systems could look like. So I don't know. I would like to order a product, for example, from a company. So I go to an e-commerce channel, and when I press that order, so automatically it goes, for example, to the warehousing system, right, of my company. First of all, to check the availability. This is in the stock, and if it is in the stock, I confirm back by email to the customer, and then saying this is in stock and will be sent to you. You take this from the warehouse, you communicate to a system, for example, of the logistic company, and tell them I need, this to be delivered to customer A who ordered this by tomorrow, for example. So you can automate this now, right? So you go and do this by this process, agentic capability robotics. You don't have to have a human, in the process in this case.
True.
Yeah.
So this is like an automation deluxe, isn't it?
Exactly.
Which is a nice segue to my next topic that I want to talk about. So if we have a somewhat understanding of what it's all about and how does it sit on relative to AI and how we can then turbocharge that and do all these steps and decisions and on your behalf, which immediately begs the question of productivity.
Yeah.
So in your experience or in your mind, if you look at productivity, like in the upstream functions of the firm, so with the production or the administration. Let's talk about that, and then we can talk about the downstream, towards customer afterwards. But where do you see this sit in the upstream functions of where can the productivity gains be?
Yeah.
Just some examples.
Absolutely. So if you take again the use cases that are happening, for example, in customer support, right? You can have 10, 15 employees, human agent, answering customer inquiries, right? Either this is from inquire about a product, or it could be return and customer service failure, for example. It could be about warranty. It could be about these kind of different activities or frequent asking questions that typically come to ask you there. Now, we saw a lot, for example, take an e-commerce company. It could be in one day, in one channel, coming from, for example, web chat and data. You could have more than 3,000 inquiries coming in a day. And if you've got between 15 people that are responding to this, they will struggle to get all these answers. Now, coming back, how to increase their productivity, here is the role of these AI agents to come and support them. So take an example, a customer asking, I would like to buy a washing machine, right? And if I'm buying a washing machine, I need as an agent go, because obviously I have like 21 million products catalogs. And that can make me go and search on the website or search in my systems. This could take a lot of time for me. And if you spread that time, right, between the different inquiries that coming to that human agent that you allocate him to answer this, that can make the customer get frustrated because again, I'm waiting until. So efficiency gain here, it will be huge. So we saw examples that could an agents take up to 2 hours, right? For example, human agents respond to an inquiry complex, let's call it complex, like a product information, into maybe at 12 minutes, because all the conversation coming very quickly, or maybe less than 12 minutes and 2 minutes. I'm hearing another example from some of the firms I work. This is more it's more an automotive industry. So you know that we have cars, typically they need some services, right? And when you go to service your car, you go to the garage of your dealer and you leave the car there, and typically you have to wait, right? It take you might be as well from 1 hour according to the car conditions, 1 hour to 2 hours, 3 hours, sometimes a day. You go actually leave and go do your work and come back, right? Automotive companies starting to explore the power of reducing this time and how we help technicians to diagnose quicker, right? What is needed to be served and give them guidelines if I don't have the experience, what's going on with this car, what I should do step by step. And according to them, when they did a lot of experimentation, that could make the technician, make the car ready from used to be 2-3 hours down the line into probably 20 minutes, right?
And this is huge.
This
time
is
saving.
huge time saving.
Yeah.
And if you think the implication of this is really huge, because now I can have not only 100 car a day, now you could have 300 car a day, because now my technician time is starting to become more efficient.
So the agents is like an army of extra personnel doing the job for you, and thereby freeing you up time to do something else, or so it's serve more customer, which must be related to customer satisfaction. So this is good for business. If we just turn our attention to downstream towards the consumer or the customer, how could you see 1 or 2 examples in that domain?
Again, so let's take the same example, the customer support, and when you go to put your card in automotive. If I put myself now from the customer side, right, and I used to wait for more than 2 hours to complete a conversation with a human agent when it comes to a complex inquiry like I would like to buy this product, here is my budget, here is the details and descriptions and etc. Typically we have, because of the human agent doesn't have the flexibility to answer in a personalized way, access these tools automatically, it takes a lot of time for them. We found a lot of in customer service is scripted answers coming to the customer. That make customers sometimes frustrated because I don't need, I need someone to care about what I need. I am a customer, I am paying for that service. I would like someone to get my attention, but more personalized, right? So from a customer perspective, how can I augment these AI agents to go and retrieve this product information quicker, generate an answer to personalize it, and then the human agent look at it, verify this is the right answer, then push it to the customer, and we saw a huge, if you like, CSAT satisfaction, which is the customer satisfaction, because it went from one of the, if you like, the case that we worked in with one of the company, from 22 CSAT about engaging customers. Of course, if I am waiting all the time, an average 2 hours, always I will say this is a bad experience, right? And going in social media and talk about it, which is obviously affecting the customer brand. But now with helping of the AI agents try to support, if you like, now the human agents to get the quicker answer, right answer, save the customer time, increase their experience, convert them to become a buyer as well. Exactly. And that can increase the sales of the company. And we saw a lot of revenue at risk, right? Because human agent couldn't serve the customer quicker or go in a sales conversation. Because typically you are a customer service agent, a sales skilled person, right? You are like, if you like, answer the inquiry, but you're not going in a sales conversation, which is give a different personalization, customization, diversify of the portfolio of the product, and convince the customers to buy this. Okay. So we saw a lot of opportunity in the sales growth, but also as well the experience CSAT and the customer satisfaction score.
So with all these examples and also evidence of the potential of this technology and the upstream functions and the downstream functions, with regard to productivity, customer satisfaction, being attractive, brand building, I'm hooked. Yeah. So assuming that I'm a leader and a leader or a person watching this conversation, if we spend the remainder of the time now, we're just talking about where should I start as a leader? I'm hooked. Yeah. I want to explore this. What would be your 3 best advices for me to go through this process of getting to these beautiful benefits?
Yeah. So I would start by identifying where are my pain points with my customers, right? So most of companies at the moment are accustomed to that design thinking and ideations and innovation, if you like, cycle. They have innovation labs and stuff, and that's really a good start. So you need to define what really the best use cases that you can start and experiment and pilot with customers. And actually we found as well many firms using generative AI and large language, this AI engine in this exploration exercise. So first of all, you could rely on AI now to become your synthetic user. In design thinking, we typically bring customers to the table, right? Now actually we have an LLM that's been trained in social media, they know the profile of different customers.
It's semi-human.
Exactly, semi-human. So how can you simulate? How you build a simulation? Obviously we still need the customer. You need to test your ideas with real customers. But it could be your first, if you like, step to test and experiment how this kind of idea could work out, right, with the customer A and B and C with these personas, right? And then you could now starting to go and test that with your real customers in general. The most important thing, you define like exactly what we discussed. Where are my return of investment will come? And you have to calculate the business model opportunity if it is a customer facing one. And the second part is even if it is an efficiency gain one, this is really could help you to increase your growth and loyalty and customer retention and etc. And also help your employee as well to become happy. They become not really putting in mundane tasks. You can support them and basically build a better capability for them to serve the customer better or do their job better as well. And I think one of the key things about these kind of experiments, you have to have a return of investment, a kind of metric somehow. Because your board, as an organization, want to see this, right? You know, if I'm investing amount of money, and as I've been introduced before, this is the cost of this model is high. If you're using it as it is, right? There is other ways as well to explore different techniques, but this can help you to get this return of investment metrics to show and demonstrate the power of leveraging them. I think my third one is actually you need to experiment between the closed source and open source, and we see there is a value of capabilities.
Two words on the difference there. So
yes.
what is okay.
So the closed source is basically you're relying on something like OpenAI API, yes. right? So you basically doesn't have the capability, right, to see how it works and how to use it and etc. and cost you money because you leverage their service to every time you ask a question, they respond, they cost you. There is techniques that's called open source. You can download these models, right? You can run it in your own server, and you do the task, and this is without the cost of paying a company like OpenAI every time you call the models to respond. It costs you money. Now it is in your own server. The cost here only the computing, right? The cloud computing that you host this new, if you like, open source one in your server, which is less obviously amount of money to use this. The techniques here that I'm referring to is actually is using your own data to fine-tune these models to be accustomed to your policies, to your processes, and to as well your brand identity, right? So how you would like to use this service. If it's customer support, for example, this is my return policy. So you can automate this by LLM responding every time a customer inquire, I would like to return my products, that response coming to them automatically without a human agent sitting there and stuff. So this is what I would advise, the three key elements where you start.
One
is identifying the pain points, try to ideate using the synthetic user. And the third one as well, try to experiment and explore return of investment metrics. And the third one, explore capabilities like closed source and open source.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. This is a really important topic, and we need to address this and need to talk about it in the debate in Norway, because some of the advantages that we have with this technology is really, really promising. But if you look at the public data from the National Bureau of Statistics and some of the research from 2024, only 47% of companies with more than 100 employees are using it to a certain level of this technology, which alludes to the fact that leaders are kind of slow in adopting it and making use of this technology inside the firm. So we need more research on what does this mean with regard to implementing this technology and get to the benefits of it inside organizations. And so that's why it's important for us to, as a business school and as a research community in the Digital Innovation for Sustainable Growth, together with Cambridge and your environment, to address these issues here. So it's applied research addressing academic problems or practical problems, and we need to do this. Mohamed, thank you so much for a wonderful conversation. Also, it is complex and it's new to all of us, and thank you for helping us understand it much better.
Thanks, Tor, for the invitation, and happy to be here. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thanks so much.